Okay, so I just went and got the refrigerator that I found. I actually found this refrigerator pretty cheap, brand new. I was looking at a $500 refrigerator, but this one was actually $340. It's not huge by any means. It's only 5 feet tall. When you look at it compared to everything else, it's not that big, but it can hold everything I need it to hold pretty easily. Has a couple shelves in it. I'll probably end up removing a couple of them because I don't really need a bunch of shelves, but put a lot of condiments and things or whatever right there. But it's 10 cubic square feet. It's actually pretty roomy for what it is. And I got some behind here. Hold on. And the door can open up pretty wide. Take this styrofoam out of there. Probably end up leaving it like that so I have more than enough space to put meats and poultry or whatever down here, anything that needs to be cooled. And don't forget, I also have a fridge over there too. So yeah, this is a lot of space for items that need to be frozen. I actually have a lot of space in this thing, so this is a pretty decent sized refrigerator. Maybe I could put like 30 or 40 sodas at the bottom, and I'll have a cooler too, just to keep extra sodas, but I could put some in here and have them ready to go. And then nice size freezer. I don't really need this stuff on the door. I mean, this is for drinks. You know, it's a standard house fridge, but I'm gonna make it work for me. I might end up taking this out just to give myself more room. A lot of this stuff I don't really use, just to give you an idea of what the nice little fridge looks like. So what I'm gonna end up doing is, close this real quick. I got some L brackets. I'll probably end up putting an L bracket right here and right here, and maybe one closer to the ground, just to keep this bad boy from moving. So behind the water heater, I still have got actual space, and that's the plug for the refrigerator. That's the dedicated plug for the refrigerator. So I still have a decent amount of space to get back here and work with anything, and I always can remove the refrigerator if I need to. So. Okay, so right now I'm in full test mode. I'm testing all the systems right now. There's like 2 major things that I got to do to be 100% complete with this build. To be 100% complete with this build and ready to operate. One of them is I have to test all the systems. So I test gas this morning. I test the griddle, made sure the burners come on, and then I did a test on the fryer to make sure its burner came on, or pilot light I should say, because you gotta light the pilot lights. So I tested both of these. They both came on, purged the valves, purged the gas line. Everything's good to go on that. So the only thing I have to do with these is fill it up with grease and clean this surface so it gets that factory coating off and season the grill. The only other part that has to do with gas would be the hot water heater, and I gotta put the batteries in because that's what actually ignites it so you can get hot water. Upon testing the water, I got my mop sink to run, I got the hand sink to run, and I got the 3-bay sink to run. The only issue is I found out I have a leak in one of the worst places, which is right behind the handles. So I'm going to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to figure out how I can get back there because this thing is kind of in there. So I'm going to try to take it off and tighten those parts up, and hopefully I can stop the leak, because I want the pump to run till the system is pressurized. That way when you open a valve, water comes out, then you can close the valve and it's off. So that's the goal. And then after that, the only other system I'd have to test is the electrical. I'm a little worried about the electrical, but I'm not worried. So when I get there, I'll get there. But as far as right now, I'm gonna try and fix this water, and hopefully I can get it. Okay, so in the process of testing everything, now we're on to electrical. So what I found is the water heater that I got, I think it was malfunctioned out the box, so I had to purchase another water heater. That'll be here tomorrow. I took out the sink, cut everything out, fixed the leak, but I'm not able to test it completely because it has to run through the water heater. So when I get that tomorrow, I'm gonna put that back together and finish testing the water. So right now I'm running through electrical. I've tested all my receptacles. I tested this receptacle working, the fridge, the prep fridge working. I also tested this circuit right here, which is the fan. When it cuts on, it comes on high, and then you gotta turn it down, but that's working. All the circuits are actually working, and this one over here, that's kind of behind the fridge right here, that one's also working. So here's all the units, so I had to take the water heater down. But I'm getting one that's roughly the same size. So it just basically go right back up in there. So what I found was on my GFIs, I actually had them upside down. I actually had both of them upside down because neither one of these were working. So I've turned them upside down, right side up, right line side in, like they're supposed to be, and these should actually cut on the cash register, the screen, the printer and the card reader, and also cut on the main lights. So what I'm gonna do is plug both of these up, and we'll go cut on the generator and see what it looks like. Okay, so today I'm currently in the process of testing the systems. I started testing the water system and ran into a slight problem. I had a leak. I had a leak in the worst possible spot, which was actually behind the sink, right at the spigot, or the faucet, I should say. So I ended up having to take the entire sink out to get to it. But then I realized I had another leak. Now, this leak was my fault. They're both my fault, but this one was really my fault. So I wasn't getting any water into my wastewater tank, and I'm wondering why. I see a leak dripping right there at the inlet for where the water comes in. Come to find out, I never punched the hole. So don't I feel quite stupid that I did not punch the hole. I put everything together. I had mocked that piece up, and I remember it now. I mocked that piece up thinking, okay, this is exactly how my fittings are gonna go. But I never actually punched the hole, so. You can see right there, I never actually punched the hole for the water to get into the wastewater tank. So right now I got the sink out. Luckily, other than cutting some fittings, things that I can reshape, it's really not that hard to take out because it's really only these screws in the back, and it kind of sits on these legs down. It sits on these legs down here, so it's really not that hard to take out. But yeah, so I'm in the I gotta punch this hole, and then I'll put everything back together because I already tightened the fittings, the ones that I had that were loose. Come on. So I already tightened the fittings that I had that were loose, and then I can put the sink back together. Okay, so I basically had to make a mess again. I ended up installing a newer, slightly better water heater. I don't know exactly what was wrong with the old water heater, but it might have been user error. I'm not even gonna lie. It could have been my fault, but I ended up kind of destroying it a little bit to figure out what was wrong with it. So this one's working now. I tried it and everything, and I had a couple leaks that I had to rectify. So the first one was at the main sink, the second one was at the waste tank, and the third one was over here. A third and fourth one was over here, actually at the water heater itself. So on the original water heater, I had a leak right here and then a leak down here. So, oh, and then I didn't realize I had a leak at the main spout for where the water comes out. So fixed all the leaks. Right now it's actually holding pressure. So, and I can prove it. So it's actually kind of loud. It's actually kind of loud, but right now it's holding pressure. All faucets are closed. A little bit of water in here, but as soon as I go to turn it on, it's probably gonna spit a little bit, but and it just cut off. So now I shall turn on the hot water, and you probably didn't hear it, but it clicks on and it's starting to raise temperature. So it's slowly going up right now. The water pressure is on in the gas. The flame is actually in there lighting up the water and heating it up. As you can see, it's going up. So then on this side of things, I can slowly, oh, let me get that away from here, I don't want to get it wet. And it's starting to come out warm now. So it's actually starting to come out warm, I can feel it. And it'll actually get really hot if I just left the hot water, let the hot water run. So it's at 102 degrees right now. And it's getting warmer. And it's starting to get hot. And a test for, you know, when you hear the pump slow down, and it's off. Oh, got the book wet. So, drain boards work, but now pump is off automatically, and this is actually the switch that I basically made for the pump. So I'm gonna write pump on there. It also controls an extra light up here, but I won't use that light because I have the main lights. So this is the pump switch to turn the main pump on, and once it's pressurized, the pump turns itself off, so I don't have to sit there and worry about it. And as soon as the pressure gets deactivated in the spigot, or the faucet, not the spigot, as soon as the pressure gets deactivated in the faucet, the pump comes back on, and then it pressurizes. I think it's around 70 psi. So the water comes out very smooth, even on a 12-volt pump, because it pulsates because of the diaphragm that I put in over here. So the diaphragm is what actually makes the water not pulsate. And gas is on. So I got my little, I have my little 20-gallon propane tank hooked up. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't take much propane at all to actually heat that water up to that degree. So what I'm seeing is once I get the 240 gallons filled up, this actually should last a couple weeks of operation before I have to fill them back up. So that basically tests all the systems. I've tested the water. Water's now secure. I test the electrical. All the receptacles work. I can't do it right now. I'd love to show you guys. Actually, the light I still got plugged into the house, but I'd love to show you. I'm gonna show you guys next time. And I did a test of the fryer and the griddle. So now that that's working, these are the 3 gas items: fryer, griddle, and hot water heater. So I know that side works. So I have all my cutoffs for that and everything. I got my fire extinguishers up. Got my fire extinguishers up with the stickers. I have all my hand wash sign, napkins, and I got a sign coming for the mop sink. Fire suppression, another fire extinguisher, refrigerator. I mean, everything's looking good. So right now all I have to do is finish inspection and paperwork, fire marshal inspection, and I'll be ready to operate.